Hi there, and welcome to my show. My name is Dr. Ngozi. I provide health education content. Today, we're going to be talking about caffeine, and I'm sure you're going to learn a lot of great information. And please share with your friends. So, let's talk about caffeine. What is it, and what does it do? So, caffeine is a naturally occurring stimulant. It boosts alertness. So the main reason people consume caffeinated beverages or foods is because they want to stay alert. Caffeine is a stimulant. So caffeine is present naturally in tea and coffee. Caffeine can be made synthetically in the lab, and this is the most common formulation that's added to foods and certain beverages like energy drinks. So what we need to know, because caffeine causes alertness, excess caffeine can cause side effects like irritability, jitteriness, nervousness, and palpitations. And we'll hear a little more about the side effects of excess caffeine later on in this presentation. So, be mindful of caffeine consumption above 100 milligrams per day. This can cause side effects. So 100 milligrams of caffeine is the amount of caffeine that is present in a cup of coffee. So the FDA in America has set a cap for the amount of caffeine that one should not go above, and that is 400 milligrams per day. So anything above 400 milligrams per day means more side effects. So 400 milligrams per day would be 4 cups of coffee. This is a lot because you also have to not just consider the caffeine content, you also have to consider the sugar content. And if you are prone to diabetes or you have diabetes, I'm not sure you want to be drinking 4 cups of coffee per day. So we're going to stick to 1 cup of coffee per day. Another thing you need to know is something called tolerance. So tolerance is just simply a phenomenon where your body gets used to something and you need to take more of it to achieve the same effects. And this is called tolerance. So one has to be mindful of tolerance because you'll start with 1 cup of coffee. The next thing you know, you're in your 2nd cup. And then you need 3 cups, then you need 4 cups, and on and on and on. And then your side effects, your risk of side effects start to increase. Now, lower doses of caffeine can be beneficial because they can stimulate brain dopamine. And we know that brain dopamine is a neurotransmitter and it helps the cells communicate with one another. And sometimes when people have low dopamine, they may have low mood. So a little bit of that caffeine can help boost mood and lower the risk of depression. So let's see what has what. How much caffeine is in what? So in a regular soft drink, just a standard regular soft drink, you might get about 40 milligrams of caffeine. In tea, you might get about 50 milligrams of caffeine. Now, green tea tends to have less caffeine than regular black tea, and decaffeinated tea tends to have less caffeine than green tea and regular black tea. Coffee has about 100 milligrams of caffeine, and energy drinks may have 250 milligrams or more of caffeine. So, drinks that contain excessive caffeine can predispose a person to very serious side effects. So, too much stimulation, as I mentioned earlier, can cause the heart to race. Not just can it cause the heart to race, it can cause an abnormal heartbeat. It can lead to seizures, it can lead to death. So be mindful of what you are consuming. And because of this risk of excessive caffeine, the American Academy of Pediatrics has, in their position statement, has said that children and teens should avoid the consumption of caffeine and other stimulants. So now let me review how coffee or tea can be safely consumed. Like I said, tea and coffee, they have the benefit of boosting alertness. So how should you consume tea or coffee safely? So they are best sipped during the morning and up to midday. So why midday? So what happens when you consume caffeine? It takes about 4 to 6 hours for that caffeine to clear out of your system. So imagine you have a cup of coffee around 6 p.m. It might take as long as 4 to 6 hours to clear out your system. That means you are fully alert up till midnight. And if your bedtime is at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., you cannot sleep. You now develop a condition called insomnia. And then you're looking for solutions to insomnia, where it was just a simple fact of you needed to have stopped drinking your caffeinated beverage by 2 p.m. I'm going to take a sip of my own tea. So, I enjoy tea. And how do I drink tea? So I drink tea just by itself, and sometimes I will add a slice of lemon or lime. So one has to be mindful, if you're drinking a lot of beverages and you have a sweet tooth and then you're adding sugar to it. Now, you don't want to get trapped into that sugar consumption. So be mindful of the amount of caffeinated beverages. Tea, I think, is okay without sugar, just a little slice of lemon or lime. But definitely coffee. I've tried coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I've tried coffee without sugar, and it was just awful. So be mindful, especially if you are prone to having diabetes, you've got a family history, or you are pre-diabetic. You have to be mindful of how much coffee you are consuming in a day. So I suggest no more than 1 cup, at the most 2, but certainly I would not do 4 cups of coffee a day. That would get you all jittery. It would create for you tolerance, where you find you need more coffee, and then it's going to predispose you to abnormal heartbeats. It's going to predispose you to a ton of other complications. So you have to be mindful that when you take a lot of energy drinks that contain caffeine, you should not be drinking alcohol at the same time, because that can predispose to fatal problems. So I'm talking about caffeine, and I think a little caffeine is okay. Just used wisely, in moderation. Definitely excess caffeine has its own problems, and I'm just here to provide health education to educate you. And I hope you've enjoyed listening to this content. If you've enjoyed listening to this content, please share it with your family, friends. Definitely give a thumbs up. That helps with bringing more contents to this show. And I think that's all for now. And have a wonderful day. Bye.